What's one music hack that you found on your journey so far that you wish, like, earlier you would have known when you first started?
Hmm. Something that I
Oh,
wish I had known earlier.
I feel like you've just been doing it the same since we started.
If it isn't broken, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Inner Sleeve right here on SoundMojo, the podcast taking a behind-the-scenes look at all things music. I'm Cassius Morris, Joe Pacheco joining me on the line as always. What's happening, my man?
Not much, man. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Can't complain. You know, I gotta say, I'm still pretty hyped, still pretty pumped off our last episode with Tobias Forge. I've just been, reading the comments and the reactions. Kind of funny to see the varied reactions to Ghost in general, I think.
Yeah, I was actually a bit surprised. I don't have, I just like what they do. I'm not a crazy, Ghost fan, but I think what they do is great. And I think what you said in the episode itself was that, it's giving, rock another shot in the arm again in terms of, inspiring younger people and getting people back into, rock and roll kind of music, rock. But yeah, me too. I was surprised, because we got picked up by Blabbermouth, and it was funny to see that on the Facebook it was nothing but hate comments on Ghost, really hating them, and then
it's nuts.
On our comments, it's all some fans and some mostly I think positive stuff, But I think it stems from I think we spoke off air about this, where it was even myself, my first impression when I heard the music was wow, this is really cool. I like this, But then when you see the look of the band, you're expecting something heavier, in terms of rock, right? So I think people are a bit disconnected from the image and the music, what they hear, It's wow, it's so dark looking, but the music isn't always dark,
It's always interesting, the judging a book by its cover, whether it's in a negative or a positive way. And I think the other thing with them is that whenever a band seems to get really, really popular, especially today in the world of rock, it almost seems like there's always a big segment of people that wants to just talk down on that group. I mean, we look at a band like Ghost, Greta Van Fleet, all these big groups. It seems like in certain people's eyes, they can never win.
Haters gonna hate, man.
Haters gonna hate. There's nothing that we can do to change that.
I don't think rock is the only ones. I think everything. Haters are gonna hate.
Good point. Very valid point. We're thrilled today to have some awesome guests on this episode of Inner Sleeve. We were joined by the Quadroholics on this episode of the show, which was a really cool conversation, which we're about to jump into. But first, a couple little items from the world of music. Now, it seems like in the world of Travis Scott, there's been nothing but controversy for months and months now, and it looks like LaFlame is not about to catch a break just yet. Now, what Travis has done this time is he started a new, I guess it's a foundation, Joe, that we could call it, called Project Heal.
Yeah, Travis started the Foundation Heal, or Project Heal, or Foundation Heal, to address the challenges faced by future large-scale events, which obviously we know he had, some issues in Astroworld last summer, right?
No doubt. And I mean, I understand that I can kind of see both sides of this because people are upset, I think, just that he's doing anything in the last couple months. I mean, any appearance he's made in public or anything seems to be getting blowback. But my question, Joe, is how long are we supposed to sort of shame him for living his life? I mean, at what point do we allow a guy to move past something like this?
I don't know, man. I mean, the court of public opinion at this point, that's what everybody seems to be into, But I mean, I could feel with the victims of this guy's just, it seems like this guy's just trying to win over, like they say here, trying to win over the jury with these things. And then his team says he started this before all of this went down. But how would you start something about, future large scale events if you didn't have any issues? But he did have issues, right? Prior to the Astroworld last summer.
Well, he did, but I think what they're referring to is just his general charity to Houston, I think is the main thing. I mean, he's tried to give back many, many times, and that is where he's from. But, I don't know if that's really here nor there. But, I mean, I kind of see what you're saying, Joe. It does seem awfully convenient, especially due to the fact that this guy was a champion of violence at shows for years, including the lyric, "It's not a mosh pit if there's no injuries." So I'm kind of raising my eyebrows.
I feel you. Yeah, same thing here. But I mean, he still has, they were saying, it violates his freedom of speech, right? They had a press order so that they couldn't do publicity. He couldn't do any more publicity and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. He didn't directly, well, now that you said what you said, he didn't directly injure someone himself. I would figure like example, if he actually did it himself, then okay, man, you lost your rights. You either killed somebody or you did something wrong. Then like your freedom of speech, like I don't know. But like in this case, I just think damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, that's a very good point too. Yeah, and I mean it's gonna it's gonna be seen what happens for Travis from here. I mean, apparently he has an album that's close to coming out. I'm not sure how it's gonna be received, but I think the most important thing here is sending prayers to the families of the victims. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what matters most is the victims' families and anybody else who's been affected by this. So I have to respect their wishes. If they don't like this, again, that's something that I'm gonna have to respect. Now, this is really interesting. Dolly Parton has jumped in on the Instagram feed to give a statement about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that one might not have expected. I think it's fair to say.
Yep, didn't expect this, that's for sure.
And she went ahead and said that, well, here's the quote. Dolly here, even though I'm extremely flattered and grateful to be nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I don't feel that I've earned that right. I really do not want votes to be split because of me, so I must respectfully bow out. And she continues on to explain, I mean, what do you make of this, Joe? Because this is, this takes a lot.
Man, I had nothing but high praise for Dolly before, and now like even more, But the thing is, I mean, she's saying she's not rock and roll enough for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I guess she's saying that, yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, I think if any artist deserves it, someone like her coming from like meager, if at best beginnings, to becoming a superstar, to being a superstar songwriter, never being in like any like public drama or any crazy controversies, and just always being great. I mean, like, I don't know what else I could say about her.
Yeah, no, she is phenomenal. And that's the whole debate, the age-old debate about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like, where's the line where something is considered rock and where's the line where something is not? I mean, I think Dolly Parton, though, like you're saying, I could see it. She's up there, she's playing a guitar, she's out on tour, she's rocking the house. It's closer than Jay-Z is to rock and roll in my view. And that's this type of stuff, like when Madonna gets put in, when guys and girls like that get put in, that's when I have a problem with it.
Yeah, because it's more like a popularity contest at that point, right? It draws more people, gets more attention to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. People want to go see. But I mean, she did mention here that her husband's a total rock and roll freak, right? And she wants to do a rock and roll album. I mean, wow, I would love to hear Dolly do a rock and roll album just to see what it's like,
Now, what if she puts out the rock album and then gets nominated? Do you think she would accept it then?
Yeah, I didn't think she would.
She better.
She may just do that on purpose. Just like she was even saying, hopefully they'll consider me again. If
this is the plot twist of the year.
Yeah, seriously, this is like it's humble, man. Like I said, I can't say much better about her, man. I think she deserves this. I mean, I think it's closer, like you said. I'm sure country rock is a thing. You know what I mean? So it's like it's rock.
Now, it's no secret that physical sales in the world of music have been on the steep decline since, I would say, as far back as the 90s. But the plot has just twisted yet again, and this is pretty interesting. Apparently, CD sales have just risen for the first time in nearly 20 years, joining the vinyl revival potentially. Now, this is surprising for me, Joe, I gotta say.
Same here, but yet, everything old is new again kind of thing. And I always find there's a 20-year cycle. There's always even songs, they come back. Now it's a bit closer, but like back in the day, like in the 90s, you'd hear a lot of people doing covers of the 70s and vice versa. Now people will just do covers of anything all the time, So it's just like, but like I find there's a 20-year kind of period where like, it starts to sound fresh again, Like if you look at the 80s, which is like probably closer to 40 years, but now you see all the synthwave stuff that came out, all based on that, But I'm not surprised. I mean, like I remember when, like I'm aging myself, but I remember when they were announcing CDs and like they were saying vinyls are going away and all that stuff. And that's when I went on a binge because vinyls, like Iron Maiden vinyls were like $1, like, and they were in great condition.
Clearance.
So I would buy all my favorite albums just to have them because, the gatefold, it's bigger, the lyrics, maybe a different cover, stuff like that. But I'm not surprised. I mean, like cassettes too have been making a comeback a good 10 years now. Like even myself, I was approached on Twitter by someone who offered for me to make a mixtape of my original music onto cassette, and they were going to print it and manufacture it, everything themselves. And this is like, you're looking at 2012, like 10 years ago. And I was like, really? Cassettes? Same thing. You go on YouTube, you'll find, or even Instagram, you'll find a lot of artists well, and myself as well, I have a setup over here that you can't really see, but I have like pedals and effects that, I'd love to pass sounds through those pedals and then through a tape machine as well to get the vibe. So
Yeah.
tapes have been making a comeback as well. But I mean, for CDs to sell, what they sell, 46.6 million CDs in 2021. That's impressive, I guess.
That is impressive, man.
And
let's see, what vinyls did pretty good too.
Yeah. Vinyls always do well, right? Vinyl hit 39.7 million US units. So the CD sold even more. And they're factoring this to the fact that, people were home, people like a longer experience. They want to own their music, not necessarily pay. But I mean, when you have like me, like I have like behind me, like over 800 something CDs, and I'll look through some that I'm like, I got at a launch and I'm like less interested. So I'll get rid of them. But I mean, like if I have to move, I got the boxes you got to fill with all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's heavy, it's like, whereas at least streaming, you just take it with you, plug in, you're on,
No
so there's
doubt.
a convenience factor.
Yeah, I could see that. I think if you are at home, it's probably more convenient to just put a long disc on here and there. And I mean, I guess it depends on the person. If you're doing active listening, I think vinyls and CDs is a lot better because, like you're saying, the big gatefold, it gives you something to sort of feel and take in with your other senses. But yeah, in terms of like the scratch factor and stuff, that's the only thing that I will not miss. Really, I can't listen to this song because my CD is scratched. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, but how many CDs have you have been ruined by scratches? Not many, right?
Not a whole
resilient.
lot. I would be pretty bad with my CDs when I was younger, though.
Yeah,
But
for
you get one
sure.
of those nice flippers, and it was nice to have that in the car. The CD books,
Yeah, like
those were
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I still have a few of like CDs in there as well. But like back in the day, like even before CD players were available in cars, you had the little CD Walkman with a little cassette
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of adapter to get the CD into the car. I mean, honestly, like for me, convenience, always trumps. It's much easier to just plug in your phone or like connect your phone to the car and have like Apple Play or Spotify. But I mean, there is also resolution, right? So like you have the sound quality on a vinyl people are into, and those scratches and pops for me is part of the experience. It's always been part of it. Okay, of course, if it's excessive and really you can't pay attention to the music, but I find it's like you're being next to the fire, right? It's like snap, crackle, pop of fire, of a fireplace. CD, well, you have 44.1, 16-bit digital clean sound. So I mean, it all depends. There's so many different factors why someone would choose one format over another, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see that there's a revival.
So now we're going to jump into our interview portion of this episode. We're very happy to be joined by our friends over at the Quadroholics. And Joe, you kind of met with these guys a little while back. This is a little while in the making, correct?
Yeah, like I never physically met them, and this is actually the first time I speak with them like via Zoom. But I mean, it's usually been by email. And like when I discovered them, they submitted to SoundMojo, and I heard their sound. Like I say in the interview, it was more the vibe that got me instantly. Like they had that '80s vibe, a little bit out of tune vocals or lazy vocals kind of thing. Like very like somebody actually, one of the comments is like, sounds like you have a bunch of marbles in your mouth, when you're singing. And it's funny is that like. I think it was Billy from the band commented on that saying, because the guy says you'll never get to 10,000 views with like sounding like that, and they did get over 10,000 views. I think they're almost at 15 or 16. And they wrote, and he came back and wrote back, "Hey, what do you think?" And that person actually said, "Hey, man, good on you." Like that's cool. I
Hey,
like
there
that
you
kind of
go.
engagement. But yeah, great
Usually they
guys,
don't admit it.
That's it, exactly, right? But no, it's very chill, guys. You'll see super chill, super relaxed. Doesn't seem like overly complicated what they do or how they go about things. But definitely was fun, a fun chat with them.
No doubt. And we definitely know you guys are going to enjoy it. And we'll be back right afterwards with a few takeaways. We're back yet again with two awesome guests right here on Inner Sleeve. We're very happy to be joined today by the Quadroholics. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Hey, man.
Not a whole lot.
Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it. So what's been
course.
going
Thanks for
on?
having
Of course, man. So what's been going on in the world of the Quadroholics lately? You're out in Louisiana. Maybe tell us how life has been.
Been pretty good for me. I'm not complaining too much. We're working on a new album right now, gearing up to start dropping singles on that. Overdue is the first one coming out March 18th, and then the album's going to drop in August.
Beautiful. And the album is called Europa, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, where does the title come from, and what's the inspiration behind that?
You take that one.
Okay. So it really started with our last album's called Aurora, and we wanted to kind of keep a similar Latin word. So the album title kind of came first, and the music kind of formed around that. Just the concept, I guess, being that Europa's like they think it may be inhabitable, but it's a moon. On the album, there's some symbolism and stuff there, but kind of hard to get into without having the music out already.
It's Europa Jupiter moon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. So is it a concept album of sorts, or is it not that far?
Yeah, usually we'll do the concepts are kind of abstract. It's not like a storytelling like The Wall by Pink Floyd or something. It's but yeah, I mean, there's a general theme that ties everything together, kind of a storyline that runs through it, but it's not like a storytelling, like breaking it down. There's not character names and things like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a concept overall, but not like detailed like you were saying. Yeah. We actually we recently just spoke with Ghost. Are you guys familiar with the band Ghost?
Oh yeah. A buddy of mine just went and saw them recently.
Yeah.
Did you?
And he's like of the same thing. It's all a concept, but it's not like song for song concept storyline. It's just like loosely based on an era, right? So
right.
Yeah, that's cool. How come like you guys are into concepts? Is it like, because I mean, growing up from a metal guy, I mean, concept albums are like a big thing,
Yeah. We've always liked movies, that was the first thing that I wanted to do was make movies. And I found that making music is a lot easier. You can kind of control everything. You can control it all instead of having to write something and then get someone to direct it and get people to act in it. And with music, you kind of control, like we produce everything. So we're able to go in and have a lot more control over, how that narrative goes and everything.
When I heard you guys for the first time, it was the vibe that got me. Like the almost 80s-ish a bit, right? You have that sort of keyboard-ish, right? But then you have the attitude of like more, I don't know, I would say hip-hop-ish kind of attitude, like even the stage presence. Am I wrong? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we started as like a full-on rap group. Like that's all we did for probably the first, 5 years or so. And then it started to become like, the production started to become more synthesized and everything, and started working on melodies differently and delivery differently. Like there's still rap songs on Aurora, and there's still some on Europa, but it's just kind of evolved into that. But yeah, I mean the hip hop, like the drums and stuff are still influenced by hip hop, and yeah, like you said, like the attitude, but the sound is kind of a mixture now.
How did you guys get started in the hip hop days? Was it mostly writing, or was it like freestyles? How did you guys approach that?
We would do remixes of stuff originally, and then we had what year was that, Hayden, that we did? I guess that was 2015. You had the Monster Mash show.
Fall of 2015. Well, I worked at this restaurant. Like we didn't really do much at the time. Like we kind of like just did joke stuff in high school, but in 2015 I started working at this music venue, and they let us throw a party, and I was like, we could throw something together for a show, and they let us do it. So we just kind of chopped up a little mixtape of 7 songs, and in like 2 weeks maybe, and did a show of that. And then after that, a bunch of our music friends back in like Charles, they saw the show and they're like, that's awesome, we want to keep booking y'all. So of course, the more bookings that came in, the more it influenced us to keep working on the music.
Of course. So at that point, it's natural. So I mean, what would you guys call your type of music now? Because people always have this urge to put it in a box. Like if you had to define it, how would you define your sound?
That's always been the big question.
Right. Okay. Really.
It is hard. Like whenever I was going to upload Overdue to Spotify, it asked what genre, and I was like, I don't know. It's like I still want to list it as hip hop, but I feel like I don't know that it would really be seen as a hip hop song.
Hip hop, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of, I don't know. The new album has a lot of rock influences too, and there's EDM influences. Like, it's really kind of everything. I don't know how to put it into one genre, which is why I'm tempted to just keep saying hip hop and just roll with it.
I know it's tough, man, because like it's like you work on the music, you work on it, and then it's like when you're ready to put it on Spotify, you're like, that's when that question hits you, like, oh, I never thought about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
How about you, Hayden? How would you define it?
Pretty much the same. Like, I mean, mainly nowadays, like especially with the new music, I just say pop because like pop can be generalized as almost anything. So yeah, that's synth pop, like modern synth pop, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. There's so much. Like at this point, which is a good sign because like everything is the lines are being blurred everywhere, right? So it's like you hear like synthwave. Like when I listen to The Weeknd, the last album, not the new one, but the one before, I hear it's like, wow, this is synthwave. This was 2015 synthwave. Not too long
the new one
but
too.
In a pop context, the new one too. Yeah, so it's funny. I love seeing that everything is blurred. Like you said, you could put a lot of rock and hip hop, and it still works.
Yeah, there's a lot more rock on this new album. We have a lot of guitars we've been working on.
I fell in love in the club with another one. Hot shit's going on, man, it's nothing fun. Fucked up, I'm in love with some other drug. Fucked up, I heard love, another drug.
You guys play and program and do everything yourselves?
Yeah, we so like we make I use FL Studio to make the beats, and
nice.
Lately we've been doing taking live live guitar and things like that and working it into the beats too. So we've got a lot of songs that are structured around that. Like Overdue has a little bit of guitar, but it's not the main thing. It's more of an added like melody. But a lot of the songs are just fully guitar, but it's still poppy in a sense. It's not I don't know, there's like there's still synth involved, so it's not like a full-on rock song, so wouldn't fall into rock, I don't think.
Do you guys mic up amplifiers with these instruments, or do you guys actually plug them right into the computer?
Yeah, I plug it into the computer and I use FL Studio like VSTs and stuff to throw like effects on, like an amp would do. That
must be super helpful because you're integrating it with sort of electronic music, right? So it must open up a whole world of possibilities.
Yeah, and it's I'm not very good at playing guitar either, so it's I can go in and chop it up on the computer and make it make it still like hit on tempo and everything, which kind of gives it a more like electronic feel because it's kind of sample based at that point.
Yeah.
No doubt. Do you think, going back to the genres for a second, do you think that there will ever be a space on streaming services where it will be more open, where maybe we can list a bunch of genres, or do you think it's just going to stay the way it is, like very constricted and inside the box?
Well, they have, they let you select 2 genres on Spotify.
2, okay.
Yeah, and it's, they have a pretty good selection. It's like down to like Caribbean pop and stuff. It gets pretty specific. It's just I don't know which of those genres we really fall into, and I'm going to select it.
Yeah,
I guess knowing which genre would help.
Yeah.
It's funny because we have an artist on SoundMojo that we released for AUR. It's like an electronic EDM based thing, So I'm like, okay, it's electronic EDM, but the artist is so specific. He knows now this is future garage, this is future bass, this is future house, this is this. I'm like, they don't have these genres in there, Like I'm putting like, okay, electronic, and then they give you all these sub, like drum and bass or this, that, which is the normal stuff. But like they don't have future house or progressive house. Yeah. So I tell them, can I use progressive house? No, you can't. I'm like, oh my god, okay, I don't know what to do.
It's blasphemy.
How did you guys get meet up? School? Like how did you get doing music?
We've known each other since birth.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
But music-wise, probably high school, maybe.
Yeah.
What made you guys get together? Like, was it a jam thing? Was it just like you were met up at a show? You're like, I want to do music. Like,
I think mainly, when we came up with the name first, the Quadroholics, in high school gym class, just kind of messing around. It'd be a cool music group name, the Quadroholics. And then over time, we're like, we should be that music group. But like, we really started just like kind of making diss songs to our teachers and stuff, just like random funny stuff. And like after high school, we didn't really focus on music that much. I mean, I know Billy did. Billy had a little solo stint for a while in college. But yeah, like I said, once I started working at that music venue, that's when I hit Billy up and we're like, let's put this together. Let's bring it back and start doing some stuff.
So had you guys ever talked about music before, or was it just like you knew who each other was and you were friends, but you didn't really talk about that?
Yeah, it was never really serious, I don't think, until probably like 2015. After that first show we did, I don't think we ever really took it seriously.
How many shows have you guys done up to this point?
Oh, man. If I had to guess, maybe... What do you think? 30, 40 something? Does that sound realistic?
I feel like we've done more than that because we've done I don't know. I mean, if you say 10 shows a year and you're looking at 7 years now, probably around 70.
I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting it's not 2020. Like everything.
2020.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day it is, so I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 2 years just went by. What happened?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's insane. So how does the friendship evolve when you guys decide, okay, we're going to take this serious, we're going to actually pick a name? I mean, does that change things between you guys in any way, or are things more or less the same?
More or less.
I think it's more the same.
Yeah.
I don't think too much change.
You guys seem like pretty easygoing guys, so it doesn't seem like it would be too difficult.
Yeah. We're very, we just bounce ideas off each other all the time, and like we both appreciate each other's ideas. So, like, I don't think I've ever disagreed with anything he's put out,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah.
Do you guys play with backing tracks as a show, or is it like, or is there ever an intent like maybe to get a band playing, or is that just too complicated?
We have had live bands play with us in the past. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times, you think?
Probably something like 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's awesome. Like, I mean, our buddies, like we're friends with a bunch of people that are in bands, and they love our music too. So it's really like, it's easy to be able to kind of communicate with them and like work with them on some stuff, especially live shows.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys do anything virtually during the pandemic at all, or was it a thing where you kind of went to regroup and plan the next thing?
Yeah, we were supposed to play a live stream, but Billy's roommate got sick. And, it was like right at the peak of COVID, so we didn't want to. We didn't want to risk it.
Not taking any chances.
Yeah, no.
But it was on the books. It was in the cards.
For sure. Like we dropped Aurora in the middle of the pandemic, so like we didn't really get to do like any kind of album release party or anything like that. We just kind of let it out into the wild, and it was kind of. I feel like it was kind of perfect because everybody's stuck in their house, so they're just looking for something to listen to or watch or what have you. So I think it kind of got a good pop off from that as well.
Not too late to save yourself.
What are some of the challenges that you guys have as an indie artist? Like, what are some of the, I wish we could have this. I need somebody, a manager. I need a promoter, marketing. Like, what's some of the challenges?
All of the above. We've got, our manager, Colton, and he helps us book shows and things like that. And he's very involved in the whole process, which is good. But yeah, if we had, having a team together would be, be helpful for sure.
Also, not living 3 hours apart.
Yeah, that makes things complicated. Yeah, and then where I live in Lake Charles, we had a hurricane 2 years ago now. Well, yeah, it would have been 2020. We had a hurricane come through that just destroyed like all the music venues. So now, like over here, we've got like 3 bars that still do live music. So that's kind of cutting into that.
I remember. Yeah. That's how I remember, because like we've never spoken. We've only dealt by email. But I remember you like when I reached out to you guys saying, "Hey, I really like your stuff. Thank you for submitting to SoundMojo." And you told me, "Oh, thank you." You wrote me back a little bit after saying, "Oh man, we're in the middle of a hurricane and stuff." I remember that. Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So how did that? I mean, obviously it closed a lot of venues, but did that affect other parts of the business? Did it affect your creative process at all? I mean, what was that like?
To an extent, I was, didn't have power for like 2 months, so nothing got made for a couple months there. Yeah,
that's nuts.
yeah, takes a lot of time dealing with insurance companies and stuff and getting work done. So that's for a while there, I was pretty consumed with other stuff outside of music. So music was kind of pushed to the side for that sort of time period.
No doubt. So you guys were
But
probably
we're back now.
Was it easier for you guys to do the whole long distance Zoom thing because you are 3 hours apart? Because you guys must have been, doing a lot of long distance work this whole time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we like work on music, it's all shared via Google Drive links right now. I'll send off a version to him, he'll send a version off to me, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth just all virtually. We've been doing that now for probably 4 years. Now you moved to New Orleans in 18.
Yep, I've been here 4 years now.
Is that hard? I mean, because at a certain point, is there a point where you can't describe exactly what you mean until you're face to face with certain tracks, or is it just a thing where you can just get it done?
I wouldn't say it's like necessarily hard, but when we do get together, I'm like, oh, this is way easier when we are together. Because it's only 3 hours away, and my family lives over in Lake Charles. So anytime I go visit my family, I'll go straight to Billy's house too, and we'll chop some stuff up. And I'm like, oh, this is way easier. I wish I could do this all the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about personal listening? I mean, in terms of how you consume your music, are you guys vinyl guys? Do you like Spotify, Apple? I mean, what is your typical consumption looking like?
Spotify and vinyl, mostly for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm on Apple Music, but I used to have Spotify. I like Spotify. I think I like Spotify more than Apple Music. Apple Music,
Why the switch?
I work for a cell phone company, and I got free Apple Music, so
worth it. Definitely worth it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm curious to what was playing around in your houses when you guys were growing up that got you into music.
Like he said earlier, mostly we really started just liking movies a lot growing up, and we would make our own little short films when we were in middle school, just little funny skits and stuff. So that's what really got the ball rolling, and then music just kind of came in high school.
Yeah, the 80s sound was inspired by originally Cliff Martinez, John Carpenter, movie scores. And I started messing around with the synth side of things, trying to get the idea of scoring movies was what I was going for a little while. And then that's how I got into messing around with the synths. And then I started trying to incorporate that into the beats that we were already making. And that's kind of how it evolved to where we are now.
Yeah, Carpenter's a beast, man. Not only does he make movies, write movies, and then all the music for it, incredible.
For real. Yeah. That's the real dream right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the end goal.
Yeah.
Is that true? You guys actually want to do that one day?
That's the ideal outcome for me.
100%.
Yeah. If we take
epic.
off on this, that's what we're doing next.
No doubt. Here at WatchMojo, we're obviously known for a lot of our top 10 lists, and I was wondering if you guys might want to take a stab at guessing what the top 3 entries were in the best movie soundtracks of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah, this is, and I mean,
Tough.
I wouldn't say movies 2 months ago, but we're pretty safe.
Is it scores or all flat out soundtracks?
This is flat out soundtracks. Yeah.
Top 3 of all time.
And maybe a way to guess could be maybe throwing out your favorites, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're going top 3. Not sales, not the most popular, but just the 3 best.
Yeah, we're gonna say highest quality or highly regarded.
Okay, so 8 Mile soundtrack would have to be on there
for sure.
I would think.
I would hope so.
That's a good guess.
Maybe. I mean, my brain is going to musicals, old musicals and stuff. West Side Story maybe might be one.
Yeah.
Okay. Good guess. Let's get one more.
Trying to think of one that's been that's had a lot of
Dazed and Confused.
Oh, I'm throwing Drive in there too.
I mean Drive.
Drive.
Okay. Drive got hits.
2 very good soundtracks. Okay, well, Joe, do you have any?
I was assuming I was thinking Star Wars, man. Assuming knowing WatchMojo with their pop culture stuff, but personal favorite would have to be Inception or like anything. Most of the
Hans
stuff by
Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
You know?
Hans Zimmer rules.
Yeah.
I love it. I got to throw in Pulp Fiction as a favorite, even though it's the most stock answer for favorite everything movie related.
Yeah.
Number 3 on the list for top 10 movie soundtracks is The Graduate, 1967.
Mrs.
I
Robinson.
can see that. Yeah.
That's it. A lot of good hits on there. Number 2, Forrest Gump.
I was gonna, and as soon as
You were gonna
just
say
before I'm
that?
like, watch Forrest Gump be there. Damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of hits on there. And then number 1, Saturday Night Fever.
Oh.
That makes
Damn.
sense.
That does
I
make
should've
It
sense.
known
makes, I think, just in
Saturday
terms
Night
of
Fever, yeah.
impact, right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
we did a On This Day not long ago where that soundtrack sold like over 30 million copies. It's become like
Yeah.
the best selling soundtrack of all time, I think.
It also
Makes sense.
slaps. The beats
Yeah.
go hard.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the documentary. It's really cool too.
I didn't.
That's
Yeah, it just
fairly
came
new,
out.
right? Just came out.
Yeah, HBO. I'm pretty sure it was just released about a couple months ago. Yeah, it's very
right,
cool.
That's right. I
Okay.
do remember seeing an ad about that. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Same
I hadn't
here.
even heard about it.
Well, if you do check it out and if you want to come back, we'd love to do a review, a reaction of it, so maybe we can hook that up.
There we go.
We love that. I mean, in terms of you guys' musical output, one thing I want to know, what's one music hack that you found on your journey so far that you wish like earlier you would have known when you first started?
Music hack.
Yeah, or even just something that like maybe just in general you wish you would have known. Could be about the business or your actual performance.
Something that I
Oh.
wish I had known earlier.
I feel like you've just been doing it the same since we started.
Well, if it isn't broken, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Right. I don't know. I mean, it's always kind of like you're trying to adapt to like whenever they switch, like it used to be SoundCloud. We would upload everything on SoundCloud and that was like the place to upload music. And now they've got it where you can put it onto Spotify and Apple Music. And so then you switch to that. And now the promotion aspect of it is different because it's all based off playlists and stuff like that and algorithms. So it's, I don't know. I feel like any advice that you get, changes once the consumption style changes.
Yeah, good point.
That's a very good point. To wrap it up, we do have a question that we like to ask all of our artists, and it's tell us your dream show. Now, this would include the venue for your dream performance and also anybody else that you'd like to perform with in your perfect scenario.
Dream show. I'm gonna let Hayden go first on this one.
Let's go.
Oh man. Dream show. Maybe I mean every time I like picture our songs like in front of huge crowds, I always think of music festivals or something like Bonnaroo, maybe even Coachella or something, but Madison Square Garden with New Order would be tight.
Wow.
Nice.
There you go.
That's cool.
There we go.
Yeah, I can agree on that
Billy.
one. Madison Square Garden with New Order, opening for New Order, that'd be fire. Yeah,
Or the Weekend, that'd be tight.
Epic.
yeah. I
Let's
for any of those.
manifest it. I love that.
Speak it into existence.
Exactly. That's what we
Yep.
got to do.
This is a manifest right here. It happens. to
That's
work.
it.
Save Yourself was the first song we put up, and I always like to go back and check the comments and some really cool comments. Like you have here, such a strong late 80s Flash, obviously. I never listened. This is a slap in the face kind of compliment for us, but like
Yeah.
I never listened to the song recommendations on the Watch Mojo, but this reminds me of the 80s. Loved it. Awesome job. Oh my God, what a beautiful ode to the 80s. Nice. Here you go. Maybe we have a genre. Nice piece of techno pop.
Yeah,
That's kind
Hey,
of
there we go.
that might. Yeah,
This
Solid.
group is going to get huge. Such a vibe. So hell yeah, man.
We appreciate you guys coming on, and everybody make sure to go check out the new record, which is coming out when exactly, guys? Europa?
Europa is coming out in August 12th.
Beautiful.
And then Overdue is coming out March 18th.
Beautiful.
Sir.
Quadroholics, thank you guys. We appreciate you stopping in.
For sure.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for having
Thank you.
us.
It's overdue. System overload. I think it's overdue. It'll be over soon.
I want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at the Quadroholics for stopping by Innersleeve this week. And, always cool to see some guys pushing music forward. You know, there's always different sounds coming from these guys, new soundscapes, and always good to hear something that's sort of fresh and unique.
Yeah, and like we spoke about it, like I found it really interesting, like because I struggle with the same thing of the genres, right? And like everybody's so nitpicky on the genres, like it's future house and future this and whatever. It's like, no, dude, it's just like, hey, it's dance music or it's electronica or whatever. But I get it too, you know, like you want to break a technical death metal, you know, like why it's death metal, right? You know, but I thought that was interesting, you know, and I love the fact that like more and more because time is just progressing, the blurring of the lines between genres, what's allowed in hip hop. Because see, they consider themselves hip hop, but I don't see them as hip hop at all.
It's true. You know, I mean, I think they mostly started as traditional hip hop, and it sounds like it sort of just planted the seed for it to evolve. And that's one of the coolest things I've found. You know, one tip, and this is good for any of the up and comers out there who are, you know, looking to get into music. I think the more stuff you listen to outside of your genre, the more you will learn about your genre. And I mean, it's a lot of people think, okay, I'm doing rock, I should just listen to rock. No, listen to a bunch of other stuff. And I think that's sort of what we see with these guys.
Yeah, and that's what might just give you your sound because, like, sure, I'm sure they can rap because, like, if they're into hip hop and all that stuff, they can rap. But, like, by them trying to sing over their stuff, it just changed the whole sound, you know? Like, for me personally, I think it's more electronic than it is hip hop. But then they're also so inspired by movies. And now it makes a lot of more sense to me because of the keyboard part came from those John Carpenter kind of 80s sequenced kind of, you know, analog keyboards. So, and then the lazy vocal, I say lazy vocals because it's not like, you know, they're a little bit out of tune, but it works. I don't know. It's just a vibe for me. I just really dug their sound, you know.
It's a total vibe, and we really hope you guys dug them as well. Of course, if you want more of the Quadroholics, you can hit the links in the description below. We have all the assets for you to get in touch with them and to get in touch with us, and we appreciate you guys checking in with us here at SoundMojo. Innersleeve is live every single week on our channel, and make sure to go subscribe and click the little notification bell right next to our subscription button as well for real-time updates about everything we're posting and doing. We're on social media at SoundMojo, and make sure to follow us there. We'll interact with you in the comments, in our community tabs, and we have merch, right, Joe?
Yep. We have great shirts, V-necks, crew cuts. We have hoodies, hats, iPhone cases.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
And we also have the link for that in the description below, so make sure you check that out as well. But most of all, thank you so much for checking in with us right here at SoundMojo. We appreciate seeing you guys again, and we'll catch you next week.